Outer Orange. Card gamers, welcome to a video that you may or may not enjoy. Kind of depends on the perspective that you look at this video at. As you guys saw by the title below, this video title is pretty aggressive, but it is supposed to be aggressive. Hi, my name is Outer Orange. Welcome back to my channel. This video is gonna be a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm normally like Miss Nicey Nice, friendly the type of person, but today we're getting down to business. It is called Bugs Business Week. Today we're going to be discussing bugs and just something that I feel is just really important to talk about, and that is the mentality that there currently is towards Mega Colony as a clan, towards Gredora as a stride, towards the dragon that you ride up on grade 3 with the book and the drawing and the persona and pretty much all the combinations combined. With pretty much long story short, there's been a lot of talk in the community, Mega Colony bugs, Mega Colony bugs, Mega Colony bugs, and a lot of discussions has been like ban bugs, ban Gredora, put Gredora to 1, all this stuff. And I'm here to tell you guys why some of this is are very, very bad, I guess, assumptions is the best way to put it. And you know, I mean, I'm a little worried. I don't like to share my opinions like this, but I feel like this is one of those opinions that really needs to be shared, because this isn't even more so about bugs, but it's kind of the mentality that people have when they see control decks and just in general how meta works. And people just instantly, when they see something that seems to oppressive, they instantly want it banned. And I want to kind of open up your mentality a little bit today to the concept of looking at something and instantly wanting it banned over maybe figuring something out before wanting something banned or touched or whatever. So that is what I'm here to talk about, y'all. As you guys may know, I'm a Grand Blue player. Obviously, I would love to see bugs just not exist, as they literally stop the entirety of what my clan does. However, there are solutions, there are ways to deal with stuff, and we're going to talk about that today. So mentality, guys. So when you look at a card and you go, this is too degenerate, it needs to be banned, the first question you should be asking yourself is, have I tested this card? And maybe even some other questions. Have I looked into how this card works? Have I looked into its pieces? Have I looked into its weaknesses? You should be asking all of those questions first before you even think about banning a card, because the concept of banning something means that it's so degenerate, it's so tier 0 that it shouldn't even exist. But in some cases, there are some degeneracy that are different. You know, obviously there are some cards that are maybe be causing issues. A good example is the NLK Stride card, the one that got the Castile, that got the 2 hard cards. It was one of those cards that kept causing problems because of the way it's designed. But the thing is Gredora doesn't really fall into that category, as this is more of like a control type of variant and not necessarily you die when the minute the opponent strides type of approach. So these are different metas. People want Gredora banned but aren't asking the question of why they want Gredora banned, or looking into the deck and thinking why specific Gredora should get banned. The actuality is Gredora doesn't need to get banned at all. Actually, there are so many ways to play around Gredora that people aren't even thinking about or acknowledging, or maybe they're just not aware, or they haven't tested into the bugs matchup enough, or maybe they're playing more casually and not really trying out the more competitive side, and then they bump into bugs and then they don't know what to do and then they lose. Well, fun fact, guys, there's actually ways to play around Gredora. There's actually multiple ways to play around Gredora. You can start with literally the first thing, and that is the clan that you are playing. Now, I do agree that there's a lot of clans that you can't play, or not necessarily you can't play, but you have to think about either playing a different way, or you have to think about a different strategy. And of course, like the top 3 I can think of off the top of my head is literally Grand Blue, Pale Moon, and things like Neo Nectar, because all 3 of those clans are have a certain identity, and that identity just completely gets turned off by Gredora, and you literally have to do something else. So that being said, maybe don't play those clans. There's literally other clans that you can play that will help you probably in a better situation. Off the top of my head, we got Royal Paladins, we got Bermuda Triangle, Golds are all 3 very viable decks that you can play into bugs matchups. Now you may be asking yourself, well, those decks aren't really as meta and all this stuff. Some of that is true. I will definitely straight up say that Bermuda Triangle may not be the best go-to, but actually I recently discovered a deck that I think actually very much can go into meta and then also go into bugs really well. As something key important about Bermuda Triangle, it's all from hand. Gold Paladins mostly plays from hand, does play some from top or whatever, but majority of it is from hand. Jewel Knights, by the way, is completely mainly from hand. Everything's about calling over rear guards, which Gredora likes to shut down anyway, so you can just call over them and do your own thing anyway, and do your whole pop off and be perfectly fine. Jewel Knights is the perfect example of a deck that's both meta viable and also into bugs viable. So, but also something people don't realize is that they see a control deck and they instantly get scared. They see a control deck and they go, oh my god, it's a control deck, oh my god, what do I do? It controls stuff. oh gosh, we had this back in Link Joker, and what's going to happen with this one, and it needs to get banned. No, it doesn't need to get. Ghidorah has been around as a stride this entire time. While yes, there's been, I think, 1 or 2 occurrences in the past. I wasn't around for them, so I don't know all the details. I didn't play the game back then. I just heard about it. I heard there was like an instance in the past where Ghidorah kind of had its thing, and then guess what? People built a meta around it, and then they played around it, and suddenly it just didn't really matter anymore, right? Because Ghidorah isn't really the problem. What we're more seeing an issue is the lead up to Ghidorah, the plays that can be made to Ghidorah, the extra draw that you get, the persona riding, all that stuff. That is causing more of a problem in the Mega Colony matchup than the actual Ghidorah stride. While the Ghidorah stride shuts stuff off, what's really catching Ghidorah up is the draws and the persona and the extra 10k power that other units are giving to the concept of Ghidorah. So in actuality, if you get rid of that, then Ghidorah as a stride isn't that bad. I personally think taking away one of Mega Colony's best strides is an awful thing to do, and I think the fact that people want it banned to me is actually kind of hilarious when we have Pale Moon, Grand Blue, and whatever other meta deck. We have seen these clans do their thing, and no one's really talking about those. Like, yeah, people want like a little love tap on Ginny, and that's not a problem, but apparently this is. And I think that people are just not weighing out like what matters and what doesn't matter, and when it comes to just logically breaking down how to deal with decks. Now, you could just do something really simple. I know it sounds crazy, this is gonna be super revolutionary, but you could just test into bugs. Test the deck. Like if you are out there and you are claiming that something needs to get banned, and you have spent 0 time testing into it, or have only spent like 1 to 3 games testing into it, you are not validating your opinion properly, because that is not a validated opinion. If you actually spend time testing into bugs, you'll actually see a lot of weaknesses. You can see stuff between the grade 2 game. You can see how you can maybe keep some rear guard standard, so that way you can shut off some of their abilities. You can think about how to beat them before they rush down into Gredora. There are actually very solid plays you can make. I can give you guys one off the top of my head. It's actually something I learned through testing. Just have 2 rear guards in the back stood. That is one of the easiest ways to actually deal with bugs when it comes to grade 2 gaming them. They stay on grade 2, they do their thing. Bro, they're getting literally no draw out of anything you do. They can't pop Brilliant Blister back to hand. There's a lot of stuff that they literally can't do that you're denying them by just having 2 rear guards in the back row. Now, the other thing is actually finding a play that is faster than their draws. This one's a little harder, and you have to really kind of think outside the box, but if you do, you can. If you are faster than they can Ghidorah you can win the game. It's a little harder with this, but that is one way. And of course, the other way is literally just play a clan that does the stuff that Ghidorah doesn't actually stop. So, you know, as I mentioned before, any from hand type of decks would make it just so much easier. Or, you know, play with the concept of having your deck be more vanilla. Something people forget, that sometimes it's not a bad idea to just play vanilla. It's something else I thought I'd bring up. You can play your deck vanilla and still win. Like that's the thing. It might be harder, it might be different, it might not be your playstyle. Maybe you want to go do what you want to do, but sometimes you just can't do what you want to do. And this doesn't just involve, you know, the Ghidorah stuff. This involves other meta too. A good example is DI. DI is the best clan to not want to give counterblast to. It is the best clan to want to farm against before you just go into your play, right? So, but you know, your instinct is like, oh, I gotta give a counterblast. I gotta give a counterblast. But the minute you give a counterblast, you're losing the game. And when you do that, you lose the game. So you have to kind of set back, play a little bit of vanilla to then be able to do what you want to do. And this is said in actually a lot of circumstances. V is starting to go down this path too. Sometimes playing vanilla is not a bad thing. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions, but that's all part of the mentality of being a competitive player. If you can't make these kind of decisions, how do you expect to be a competitive player? And that is kind of what I want to, you know, get that point across. Sometimes you have to play decks that maybe you're not as comfortable with, but you want to master in order to deal with certain matchups. Now, I'm not saying to build a deck around only one deck. That is a very bad philosophy. I don't recommend it, but you can play decks that either deal with the deck better or deal with multiple decks better, whatever it is, and that way you'll become a better player overall. You can do these kind of things, and I promise you, you will see success in these types of things. I see these things all the time. People get so upset about meta, but they never think about how to actually counteract meta. So I wanted to kind of make this video to let you know, think about counteracting meta before you start freaking out about a card that needs to go, or cards need to go, or whatever it is the case. There are some cards cards that may be harder to deal with, and those cards can enter the ban circle, and there might be some degeneracy that may lead to other cards, like maybe even Gredora. Like, it's possible that maybe in the future Gredora becomes so degenerate that maybe she needs to go. Does she need to go right now? I personally think 100% no. Do other cards maybe need to go? Yeah, that's fine, but not Gredora the Stride. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. It is okay to think outside the box. It's normal and it's fine. And I think that issue, if you really want to show your competitivity, you really want to show what you're all about, I think that's some of the steps that you have to take. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a villain here, not trying to be mean. And I know this title of this video is a little aggressive, but I just want people to understand that there's more to a card game than just aggressive decks and all this and that and just no control whatsoever. It is okay to have control in the game. And actually, I think it's not even a bad thing. I just think a lot of people, especially within the Vanguard community, are just not used to these type of play styles and just don't know what to do when they see these type of play styles. But it's okay to have these like player-to-player interactions. I actually think it's a good thing. I think it's good to have these player-to-player interactions. It's good to kind of think through your matchup instead of just, you know, moving your card sideways and taking the W that way. And I think it's even more rewarding that way when you think through the matchup and you beat the matchup as well after all the testing that you've done to counteract this matchup. When you finally see the results on the playing field and you actually succeed, it is one of the greatest feelings and one of the main reasons to enjoy the competitive playstyle of card games. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if this video was that informative. I'm not very good at explaining these kind of things, and that's why I don't make videos like this very often, but I did want to get this out there for people that are entering Springfest soon, people that are practicing, people that are entering, people that are complaining, people that are not complaining but are trying to figure out what to do. Maybe this will be a wake-up call for you. Maybe you're not complaining and you're just sitting there and you don't know what to do. Maybe you haven't played testing but haven't been finding the right stuff. Maybe something I said today will help you realize this and kind of help you succeed more in your future matchups in Premium, V Premium, Overdress. This does apply to all three formats. Some people will say Overdress is lighter, whatever. I did to some degree disagree. I think even in Overdress, some certain decisions you make do change the style of how you'll succeed. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything, you can leave them below. You can also ask me on Discord or whatever. If you want more about bugs, ask people around that play bugs as well. Maybe they'll have an answer for you. And at the end of the day, I hope you're just enjoying the card game. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this content right here. I hope you liked it and had all fun enjoying hearing me talk for the last 15 or so minutes, because, you know, that's what I'm about. And if you need some cards for your Springfest, don't forget to hit 50cards.shop. You know the drill. For some cards, you can use my code ORANGE. He recently just put up some new SPs and stuff like that you can check out. So go ahead and hit those links, hit that love. And if you want to use my affiliate link for TCG, you can do that too. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wish you luck in Springfest. I hope you have fun. We can all, as a team, as a group effort, figure out how to fight bugs. As a community, we can figure it out together. And I'm all here for that. So if you ever need some guidance, I'm here. I'm your girl. Other than that, guys, peace out. До свидания. See you guys next time. Bye.